Hello everyone, welcome to our last session of our today's programming class. In today's class, or in this class, we are going to get introduced to HTTP requests. If you remember, in the previous class, we got introduced to JSON and discussed different things on different scenarios why we need JSON. So we went ahead and learned how we can convert data to JSON and also how we can convert it back from JSON. So right now we're going to get introduced to HTTP request. HTTP request means how we can send information to internet and how we can receive information back from what? From internet. So it's going to be another interesting lecture. So I hope you're good and ready to do this with me. If you are, then let's do it. Okay. So I will go to my browser. First of all, why do you need HTTP request? So HTTP request, as you know, most of the application that we use today, almost every application that you have in your phone, it needs to communicate to the internet. Okay, to send the information to the internet or receive information from internet. Almost even calculators, they are doing the same thing. So how can we send information to the internet or receive information from the internet? We do that by use of what? Of HTTP request. So in today's class, I'm going to show you how we can receive information from internet and make use of it. If time allows, we'll also go ahead and see how we can receive information from internet and make use of it. So without wasting much time, I'm going to create a fresh screen here that we're going to use to demonstrate that. Okay, so I'm going to create a fresh or new screen that I'm going to use to demonstrate that. So what I'm going to do, this is the screen that we had for JSON. I'm going to create another one so I can duplicate the same screen and then just simply press F5. Okay, F5, and I can call it HTTP requests. Okay, HTTP request. So there we go. I will go ahead and change the name of the screen. I'll change this one to HTTP. I will go ahead and remove these other unwanted function. They never see me coming. Okay, so there we go. I will remove this guy. So I will have what we call get and post, but I'll explain it. Okay, HTTP get. I'll explain it. Okay, that will be the first thing. So let's go ahead and add this one to our menu. So I'll go to our menu and duplicate this guy. We say that we're going to be adding them on top. So the last topic will be on top. So I'll duplicate this guy, Control D, and then come and put here HTTP requests, maybe internet. Okay, so I'll save. Maybe I can put here. So I'll save. So there we go. So now I'll change this, that in case someone clicks there, you should be taken to the HTTP screen. HTTP request. Let us add the word screen because the word HTTP request might be protected. So press Alt and Enter and add the HTTP request screen. So I'll just input HTTP request screen like this. So I'll save. Maybe I can as well rename it. Okay, so I'll save. Now when I click here, I'm taken to I've just put this guy in the wrong thing. HTTP request. Save. It has not saved. There's an error somewhere. Come to main. How to remove this? Okay. There's an error. Yeah, I have to remove this guy. Okay, so I save. Now I should be able to click here where there's HTTP request, and I'm taken to the HTTP request screen. Okay, so we have mainly two types of requests. We have the GET and the POST, though we have others such as delete and delete and put. Okay, so we have four types of requests. We have GET, POST, delete, and put. So put we usually use it for editing. Delete we use it for delete operations. Then POST we usually use it to send protected information or huge information. For example, when we want to send a huge amount of data to internet, we use what we call POST. Then when you want to receive data from internet, we use what we call GET. Okay, so right now we're going to look at GET, how we can collect data from your internet source, and then also we'll go ahead and look at POST if time will allow us. So in Flutter we have package that give us a simpler way to deal with GET and POST, or with HTTP requests with simplicity, and I'm going to show you those packages, okay, or that package that I use for communication with internet. Though Flutter comes with its own package that you can use for sending basic communication, but right now I'm going to show you the one that you can use for simply getting information from internet. So I'll just simply come to the browser and I search for the package called Dio. So go ahead and search Flutter Dio package. You can say right Flutter Dio. Okay, so that Flutter Dio package will be on top here. So go ahead and click on it so you can see it. So this is the Flutter Dio package. They'll give you introduction of it. So you can see it is very popular. It has 130 points out of 140, and it is 100% popular. And it has these many likes. It is really powerful and beautiful package that we need. So I don't want you to suffer passing very far and then realize later. That's why I want to take you straight to the important part. So I'm going to put this package to our project. So to add it to our project, we just simply come and copy this dependency part, or you can as well click on this icon to copy the command. Okay, so I'll go ahead and copy this guy, Control C, and then come to our project, and then come to pubspec.yaml, and then come to where there are packages, and add that package of Dio. So I'll go ahead and run pubget, so that this package should be added to our project. So I'll run pubget. Okay, so this package is being added to our project. So it has completed being being added to our project. So the next thing, I can either restart my app or I can start using it. But it's good to restart the app when you've just done when you've just added a new package. So let me go ahead and restart the app. Okay, so it is restarting. Now let us go ahead and see the basic usage of this Dio. So you can go ahead, of Flutter Dio. You can go ahead and look at it or in your free time and learn more. Okay, so this is a HTTP GET method. So we're going to write the one that is, we're going to write our own and see how we can get data from internet to our application. So maybe you can even make use of it. So I'll come now to HTTP GET. Where there is HTTP GET, when I click there, so I click on HTTP GET. So we have not write the method that will do the logic of HTTP GET. So let us go ahead and write it. So I write it HTTP GET. So I repeat, HTTP GET is a method. GET is a method that we use to collect just data from what? From internet, to collect data. So I'll press Alt and Enter so I can create this method. Now I have this GET here. Okay, I have this GET here. So I can just simply print maybe my HTTP GET, something like this. Okay. Okay, so I'll save and then I click here on the run. So and I try to test if we can successfully reach at this point. So when I click there, my GET, you see my GET. So it's beautiful. Now, how can you get data from internet into application? So go to the documentation of DioGet. So they say this is how you can get the data. So you can either use try and catch. By the way, that thing I had not shown you, try and catch. Try and catch, you use it to check if something was successfully or not. Okay, so I will show you what's meant by try and catch. Okay, so this is how you simply get the data from internet. Very simple, just one piece of line, you already have data from internet. It's very, very simple and beautiful. So how do we do it? We just simply come to our project. Let me paste these two pieces of line, but I'm going to explain them. First of all, it has to be an asynchronous process. So asynchronous process, here in front you have to add the word async. Okay, no, here before, after the bracket here. So for every asynchronous process, you'll always have async. You should always put the word async here between the closing bracket and the curly bracket. This gives the ability for the Flutter to wait, for the project to wait until this process is complete before it proceeds to the other one. Then you write dio like this, dio, with the beginning of the capital letter dio. Okay, so if it is not there, you can just simply move your mouse here and press Alt and Enter so that you import it. And then after writing dio, then you put .get and then you put the link that you want to get from internet. For example, this one is going to get us a plain Google website. This is google.com. So it's going to get for us the Google website and store it into this response. Okay, so I can save and then I go ahead and click on run. So when I click on get, so it will process. You see the response is here. Let me clear everything and I see and I show you. So here on top, I'm going to put print, maybe say fetching. So it is starting fetching data from internet. So you will have to expect, of course, a delay because it is going to what? To internet to collect the data. And then I can put here, after it finishes, I put done fetching, something like this. Or I can put done fetching, has finished fetching. Then put here start fetching and done fetching. So okay, so the main point here, it's going to collect everything that is inside google.com and put in this response object. So I clear everything and then I click on HTTP GET. So start fetching, you see it delays, and then it writes done fetching, and then it writes for us the Google website results. HTML file, okay, or a Google file. So that's beautiful. It means that now we can be able to collect data from internet into our application. That is very, very powerful. If you didn't know, you now know. Okay, so that's how collect data from internet to our mobile application. Now you can go ahead and learn more about what? About Dio. Okay, so before we proceed, there is so many things: sending the get parameter, the query parameters, and also maybe the post and get, all these things. I don't know whether this class may be enough to demonstrate all of them, but let me allocate time because I need us also to look at what? I need us to look also at the local storage. So maybe we can add more 20 minutes for demonstrating the gate. It is very important. So now what? Now I want to demonstrate this thing and understand very well. So if you come here to gate, here they'll show you how you can send parameters to the internet. Okay, how you can do post. You see, it's just very simple. do.post. You can do like that. How you can upload an image, how you can upload a file, and how you can download files using do. So you can come here and play with it as much as you can. Okay. For me, I'm going to do for more 15 minutes as I'm showing you. Then we can proceed to another topic. So what am I going to show you first? I'm going to show you possible errors. For example, a user may not be having internet and he's trying to connect to the internet. I mean to the gate. I mean to collect data from internet. So how can you know, or in case an error happens, how can you tell that an error has just happened? So for example, let us say we put a wrong domain like this. Okay, so we expect an error, of course. But if you don't expect an error, your application can go into an error and it crashes or it blocks the user from proceeding. Why? Because it's not put into consideration. So if I go ahead, you see, I put a wrong domain and I click on get, so it will say fetching. You see, it throws an error. Okay, so it will be smart if you'd always put these errors into your consideration. So in case of an error, you're able to handle it and show the user what to do next, other than blocking them and making them fail to do what making them know what to do next. So the first error, the first way you can handle errors is through the response itself. Okay, so through the response itself, they'll give you different things. They'll give you the data and they'll give you the status code and the status message. Okay, so before you go ahead and process the data or display the data, it would be good practice to first see if this thing has an error or not. Okay, so let me first check if this guy will be null. Let us put a wrong domain. Okay, so we go ahead and say if equals to null. Okay, then we're going to put here in the console, say failed because response is null. Okay, so there you can now tell the user what to do next. Okay, else I put here print did not fail. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the thing. We'll run it. So fetching, you see, it does not even reach the fail part. So the error is happening within this line, and the application cannot do what? Cannot proceed. So to do that, that's when we introduce try and catch. So try and catch is a way how you can handle the error without crashing the application. Let us say that you have an application that may involve division, and maybe at a certain point you're dividing, whereby the dividend or the number that you're dividing with is 0. So what does it mean? You cannot divide by 0, so your application will crash. But if you put try and catch into that division, or you put the division to the try and catch, then you can be able to know where there's an error, and then your application will not crash. Let me give you an example before we even practice this one. Let us say that I have int x equals to 1, okay, and int y equals to 0. Okay, let's say maybe 12. Okay, so I come and say here maybe int or I can say maybe double z equals x divided by y. So do you know the problem there? Of course, do you know the problem there? If you have ever done maybe some mathematics, you know automatically that's going to be an error. Okay, so this one you will make your application crash. Why? Because you cannot divide any number by 0. So if I delete everything, I'm just putting a return, and I click on HTTP get. Maybe put here print z. Okay, so let me try to run it. HTTP get, you see, I'm able to get an infinity. But otherwise, I was supposed to get what? I was supposed to get an error. So if you want to take care of such things, what to do? You surround it by a method, a function called try, and then here you put catch. Okay, catch like this. Okay, so here you'll receive an error in this E, and then you can be able to process. So if it successfully execute, it will be within the try. So if it fails, it will be within the what? Within the catch. So let me show you. Now you see our application was crashing because we had put a long domain. So if you want to get rid of such problems, what do? You put it inside the try. So let us say maybe this response, we have already defined it here. Maybe response is on top here and it is null. Okay, so we can just simply say try, and then you put here response equals to this wrong domain, and then catch. So this catch will be called by the operating system in case there's a what? An error. So I can put here print and say failed. Okay, you'll need this try and catch. Okay, so let me put here a return so that it should not proceed from here. Now let us save and see. So let us click on HTTP get. Can you see our failed has come in peace? It has come in peace without crashing. Okay, but otherwise, if we put it outside try and catch, you see, if I put it outside here, that means you're careless, you don't care, and when I do that, your application will do what? Will crash. So error, processes that you expect to be sophisticated or that can cause errors, always surround them with what? With try and catch. Okay, so when I click there, you see the failed, it comes in peace without even causing an error or crash. So if I come here and say print, so this E will always have a message of what has happened. So I can say e.toString. Okay, so now if I run, you see, let me clear. So the error is being brought to you in this E, while that explain everything. But DO, HTTP DO, it has its own error. Its own way you can catch its error. Still, you see this error that you have put here in the printing, it does not make much more meaning. But DO, it has its own way of how you can do what? You can catch its error. Let me search it here. It's called the DO error, this guy. Okay, so I can put here DO error and put maybe W. Okay, so this DO error will give you the exact problem that happened in its try and catch. Let me show it to you here. I already done it before, so that you can know whether the domain was wrong or whether the user does not have internet, and show the relevant message, as than crashing the application without telling the user what happened. Okay, this is what you do. So you have to put it into try and catch, and then you write this on duo error, and then you say catch and then put E. You see the other catch, the default one, was not giving us any meaning. So here on duo error, then you put catch, then you put E, or any name or any naming of the variable that you want. Can be any letter or any number or any word. Okay, someone should mute their microphone. So you see when you click on E, you have so many explanations. Someone is typing, should mute their microphone. So when you put here E and click on it, okay, let me see if it's the person. Peter, can you mute your microphone? I don't know whether you're following even. So you see, when I put E and I put dot, you see, there are so many things that are being returned. Message, error, response, okay? So if I put message like this, it will now be able to give me the meaningful or what has happened. So I put here message and I click HTTP GET. Can you see? Socket failed, host lockup. So this means that the error is not as overwhelming as it was, and you can as well be able to do what? To get its meaning. So this means that the domain is not there. You can as well do what you call that was what the message. So you can put error and see what the error will tell you. Okay, so can you see? Failed to look up for this domain. Okay, so no address associated with the domain provided. So you can go ahead and make a decision on what you should show a user. Okay, so whether there is no network, something like that, okay, you can be able to tell from here. So there's another thing called status code, something request options. I don't know. I want to show you where I can get the code and tell whether it is response dot data dot header dot status code. Okay, let me put here two strings because the string. So why is it? Oh, it can become a null. So I'll put here question mark. Sorry, I'll put here a question mark. Yeah, like this. Okay, so there it will tell you the exact code. I think it's null. The exact response code in case it was valid domain. Maybe if the network is there, that's why you can get the 0404 or anything like that. Okay, so go ahead and put this. The response is null, but in case the response was not null, that is where you can get whether there is a 404 or 500 or the response code from there. But because the domain does not exist so completely, so the response is null. So now in case everything is okay, let us say so let me show you one thing. So you can put here, in case everything is okay, it will proceed to this next thing. You see, next line in the try. So if I press get, you see the success is not being it is not being executed. Now let us go ahead and remove and remain with google.com. So google.com is correct thing. So if I go ahead and click on get, HTTP get, you can see it is success. I hope you can see that. So it is success. And this failed section is not being executed. So a failed section, you'll always put the scenarios when maybe it failed to reach your browser. I mean, failed to get the data. That's why you put everything in this the exception section. So it is very, very important to always handle everything carefully so that your application performs well. Otherwise, if you just write this line, single line, everything will work well. But in case maybe the user does not have internet, in case your server is down, your application will just crash and the user will do what? Will just get confused of what is going on. So always implement this try and catch. It is optional, but it is very important. So that's how you can get data. So now let us see. You see, this is how you can get a what? Successful data. Let me go ahead and put it here. print whatever has come back. Okay, by the way, you can as well go ahead and put the message or anything. So if you press Ctrl and click here, you'll see the exact response. Now let us go ahead and do what, and see now how we can make much more meaning of HTTP GET. Right now we're just getting a page, a Google website. Now, but when you're going to start implementing, you're going to implement it using what? Using API. So I will show you how we can get meaningful information, maybe when you're creating an API or anything of the like. So now I'm going to show you, for example, there are free APIs. Now, if you never heard of something called API, application programming or programmable interface, I don't know. So they are the one that you use to make application or more than one application to communicate to communicate together. So there are so many APIs outside there. API for weathers, API for news, API for so many things. Okay, and you can also create your own API. Let's, for example, say you make an online website for maybe for food delivery or anything. So your database will be online, but it's the application that's going to be consuming that information. So what does it do? It means that you have to write an API that will be giving information in form of JSON, and then you reuse it in another way. So let us first use the existing API that's already there for free, and then we can also see how we can maybe use we can also start creating our own applications. So if you come here and search for maybe JSON API dummy data, something like that. Okay, so JSON dummy, see here there's called dummy JSON fake REST API. So you can use that one. We have another one called JSON placeholder, another one called Monkey. So all these ones, they are there for you to use to practice whether you can get information from internet using your HTTP on whatever platform that you're using. These ones are free APIs for just dummy data. Okay, so this one will allow you to get dummy data in JSON and placeholder development, so you can as well get it from GitHub. So they said right now, you see, this is just getting the product number 1, and you see this is a list of a product. So let's go ahead and use this one to practice. So for example, if I want to get this kind of data into my application, so it is on internet, I want to get this kind of data into my application, what do? I will just simply come and copy the link. Okay, copy the link. Now come to your application and paste there the link. Okay, paste there the link. So if I save, okay, so if I save, you see I've just put there the my link. So this application, this mobile application, is going to get this data and put into our. So as I told you, almost everything will be in in form of JSON that is communicating with different applications. So let me go ahead and click on HTTP GET. So it will process. Boom. Can you see? Beautiful. We have got back the response of very beautiful data. And this response is not in our application. It is just coming from where? From internet. That is very nice, isn't it? So it is in JSON, and I've already taught you how to convert data from JSON to an object. So it means that you can as well get that data from JSON and display them into your computer. So that is nice. I guess you can, so they have different examples. You have products, carts, users, posts, comments. These are endpoints of what? Endpoint of different endpoints that you can use for testing. So these are the roots. We have a root of products. This is how we get a single product, etc. So let us go ahead and click, for example, play with products. So if I click on products, an advert will come. This is an advert. You see, that is the JSON of what? Of products. So it is your task now to see how you deal with this JSON and make it useful. Okay. So we have another one called fake API. So you can as well use this guy. You can as well use these ones. Just look at their documentation and then go ahead and use their API. We have another one called this API placeholder. I think it's the one that you're using. Okay. So let us go ahead and see how we can get, for example, many products from internet. So what will I do? I'll just simply remove this word product and put just products. Okay. So when I put products and I click here, HTTP get to process, and you can see I have a list of what? A list of product. Okay. I have a list of product. So now it will be our task to convert this list of product into what? Into a product. I want it, let me see if time is still there, but I wanted us to cover local storage. I think local storage will not be okay for today. Let me first show how we can make use of HTTP GET and JSON, and then maybe local storage can be for another day. Now we're going to make a simple application that is going to get a list of products and display them on what? On screen. So you can see these guys dummy data in the, for example, the product. They even have a product what? A product photo. So we're going to see how you can display also this product photo on the screen. So when you click there, you see, let me see if this product photo is making sense. Link. We have a list of users, a list of product photos. See, that is a product photo. So let's go ahead and we see how we can make use of this dummy data so that we connect the knowledge of HTTP GET and the knowledge of JSON decode together to make something that can make sense. So we're going to make our simple shop using this HTTP GET. Okay. I mean using this JSON placeholder. Okay. So this one they have for them, they have posts and albums. So you can choose one to use. Okay. There's this one. For them they have posts. So when you click on posts, you'll see a list of what? A list of posts. So a post will have title and ID. Okay. So this is the list of photos. So can use this one for practicing with photos. Okay, so with that much said, let's go ahead and use this fake. Is it the one that you're using? The one with products. You know this one? It's called JSON dummy. This one, eh? It's one that we're going to use, okay? So I'm going to show you how you can make use of what we've learned today and put it together. So I'm going to list our, I'm going to get this information from internet, and then we decode it, and then we list it, okay? That's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and do that. So first of all, we are going to write the logic of getting these products from what? From internet, okay? And then display them into, and then convert them to JSON, from JSON to product, and then display them, okay? So first of all, let us see how we're going to organize it. I'm going to put a new screen of products, and then a screen for a specific product, okay? So let's go ahead and see how we do that. I'm going to create that one here. So let us create a new screen. So watch very carefully. Right now we've just learned how we can do get HTTP get. So let me go ahead and create a new screen. I mean a new screen. I'm going to call it products. Okay, product screen, and I'll change this title to product screen. So the title we can put maybe a list of products. Okay, so then after we're going to go ahead and remove this column and put just a container. Okay, okay, just pass there by default just text and put maybe this is a child, and then maybe put products. Okay, okay, so after doing that, let's go ahead and add this screen to our the name is not correct. It's called products. So let's go ahead and add this screen to our menu. So I'll come to the main menu. Okay, and I'll come here on top and duplicate. Okay, the whole thing is getting boring, but when you practice, I hope you will understand and you'll appreciate it. Products. Okay, and say list of products. Okay, so I can put here cart. Okay, so I want when someone click here, he should be taken to this list of products. So when I click there, I'm taking the list of products. Okay, so I'm going to add here a refreshing, we call it refresh indicator. We use it for when someone pulls down, you'll be able to refresh. So that indicator, I mean refreshing indicator. So I'll come here to products. Okay, here on the container, I'm going to surround it, or even here in the product. Yeah, on the product here, I'm going to surround it on this text. I'm going to surround it with a widget. Okay, for example, container widget. But this container, I can even put here. Okay, let me put it here. So instead of container widget, I'm going to put this widget called refresh indicator. Refresh indicator, so you should know it. Okay, so this refresh indicator will take one method. Let me first remove this guy. See, I have now everything empty. So this refresh indicator will take one method called onRefresh. Okay, so onRefresh, it will be just taking a method that you want to call when someone pulls down to refresh. Okay, so I can call this one maybe fetch data. Okay, press alt and enter to create it. So let me create a method for fetching data. So return null. I see. So I have put here async. Okay. Okay, so I want to put here print and say fetching data. So when it will be called, to display this in the console, fetching data. So if I come back here, and I click here, of course fetching data will not be called because we have not have that possibility of pulling down. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to show you what's meant by states. So we have different states. Now I want this method to be called, okay, this method of fetching data from internet, I want to be called automatically when someone opens this screen. Okay, that is also another important thing that you may need to know. I want when someone opens this screen, this method of fetching data, it should be called automatically. So to do that, you have to write on, you have to come here and write here outside the build is put on, is it on start, you put it on top here, on, why is it not suggesting on start, let me get it here. Okay, sorry, it's not on, it's called init state. So you have to come here and write init state like this. So it should auto suggest it, and you press enter, then it will do that for you. So it overrides init state. Okay, so that init state should be inside this state. This method will be called automatically when someone opens this screen. So that is very important thing that you need to know, that there must be there is a method that can help you to trigger for your operation to start when someone's open screen. And this is the method, and now this is how it is written. You just simply write init state, it will automatically suggest for you. So I want when someone opens the screen, this method of fetch data to be called. Okay, so to do that, you just simply come and put it here under super. Okay, so that method will be called automatically, or anything that is here, it will be called automatically when someone opens this screen. Okay, so when someone opens this screen, it will, this init state, it will trigger, it will be triggered, and then this fetch method will be triggered. Okay, so that is very important thing that you may need to know. So if I save now, you see when I open screen, automatically fetching data has been called. So I hope you're getting that. You see, when I open screen, fetching data automatically is being called. So I want now here to write the logic of getting my data from internet to what, to my browser, or to the browser. But to do that, I will just simply come and write dio. Okay, so we have to write this again. Okay, whereas it already written it, so I may not need to repeat it myself. Okay, so I'll come here to where there is HTTP request. Okay, and then I'll just copy this thing that we wrote here. Okay, so I'll put here. So this is where we're going to get all the products and then convert them to and we convert them. So we'll first check if it's not null, if response is not null. Okay, because by default is null. Okay, so if it is not null, I'll go ahead and put print, and I display, I just put it in the what, in the console. Okay, so let me go ahead and put here maybe print and say getting data. Okay, so that you should know when it is loading and when it's not loading. And then when it finishes, I'll come here and put maybe done getting data when it finishes. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on, oh sorry, we don't have a button that will trigger click. You can either come back and click to see, so getting data, and see here it finishes, then getting data. So I want now to decode this data. Okay, we want to decode the data, but before we decode the data, we have to first understand it. Okay, so you can see the data comes in a list of what, in a list of object, but the first object, it is having the word products and then a list of other products. I don't think. Okay, let's go ahead and now see how we can decode that. Or maybe you can use this one which just comes as a plain list. Okay, these are no photos. Okay, let us use this one of photos because it comes the playlist with a plain list. Okay, let me use this. Yeah, so I'll save, open again. So it is getting data. You see, it is having. Sorry, I've not copied the right thing. Copy. It's not getting the right thing. Let me copy this guy. For it brings a direct list of photos. So I'll save. It's called placeholder. So I'll go ahead and click. So I'll process. You see? Oh, why is it bringing products again and again? Let me restart the application. Okay, so now let us go ahead and see how we can decode this list of of products. So to decode that list of products, first of all, we will need a map we're going to create a map that can pass these products. So to do that, we just simply put, let us see. Okay, so click on products. So we have this list. So let us go ahead and see how we can pass this JSON that has come from internet and we make use of it. So first of all, it is a list because it begins with with a square bracket. So we know it's going to become a list. So we're going to see how we can change this list and convert it to a normal. So there is two ways how we can do that. One of the way, we can first create a class, or we can a class of a photo which will have an album ID, the photo ID, and the title, and then we do the JSON decode. Or the other way around, we can first do what we can first turn it into a map, and then we pass it. So both of the way can work. So let me use the one of turning it into a map, and then we pass it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So you can just simply write print JSON decode print JSON decode. Okay, so I put the response, and then I print. So whatever's come, I just go and say print JSON decode. So I decode it, and I want to see the structure. So when I click back and I open, so to fetch, and then are they saying unhandled? Let me see this response, if I can change it to string. Click and click back. Album title, choose how is it again? The format is not in correct format. Maybe let us see. JSON decoder. Let's just try this one. Dot pass the response does to string. Let me dump this one. Print. Okay, I wanted us at least to be able to get the information from the internet and display it on our application. Response Dynamic. First, see this duo, how we can get a better response. Let's see how I've done it before here. So this response data weight, and when I get the response, I put dot data. Yeah, I put dot data, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so you have to access the information through dot data. Now let's go ahead and do JSON decode and try JSON decode. I press the insert button on this Windows machine. Okay. Okay, JSON decode. Okay, so let's see what we'll get. List dynamic. Let us read the error. List dynamic is not subtype of string. Okay, that means it's already in JSON. Yeah, it means it's already in JSON format, which is okay. So we have to say, I think you can see how we convert this one. So I can just simply say for, I don't know, I still remember these things. Maybe I can say var x in, and then we put this JSON data, the data, I think, yeah. So let's display this x, print x. So click there. Yeah, beautiful. So we are able to get the whole data into our console, and it is one by one. So that is very nice. It's too much data. Okay, it's too much data. All this is data, and it is accessing it in just like 1 minute. And now after doing that, so the next thing, let us go ahead. Let me explain here. So this is bringing back this response is bringing back a plain list, you see. So, and duo is receiving it as a what? As a list. So if you want to look through it, you just simply say a variable. Variable, it can be anything, and then you say x, or you can call it anything, and then you say in response. Okay, dot data. Okay, so that data is the one that has the information. So let us create our temporary class that we're going to use for displaying these pictures. So let us first look at a single object. This is the single object. Okay, so let us create for it a prototype or a class. So just simply say class, and I'm going to call it photo. Time is up, but let us finish at least displaying these ones. Okay, so I'll call it this one maybe photo, and then I press cult. And then after I start putting the properties there. Okay, so this one has a property of album ID. So album ID is an integer, so I'll just simply say int album ID equals to, by default we can make it 0. Then we have an ID of item itself, so I can say ID, and then I say maybe int id equals to 1. Okay. What else do we have? We have the title of a photo. So I can say maybe string, which is the title of a photo, equals to maybe nothing by default. Okay. String. So what else do we have? We have URL. That is the link, I think, for the photo. I mean, for that photo, then you have thumbnail URL. So let's go ahead and create also thumbnail URL like this. So this is the class of a what? Of a photo. So we can do as well JSON decode and put the method here, or you can as well initialize it since there are not too many. Okay. So let's go ahead and initial and create this a list of this photo object. Okay, here. So just simply say list of what? Of photo class, and then I can call it maybe pics equals to. So if you want to begin with an empty list, you write those square brackets like that. Okay. So I'm going to collect now one by one, or each property one by one into this from this X. Okay. As I add those into these pics. So first of all, I'll have to clear the pics. So I say pics dot what? Dot clear. Okay. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and now start putting the what? The item into these pics. Okay. So I'll say pics. First of all, I'll have to create a new item, a temporary item of a photo that I'm going to add in these pics. So I can say maybe photo, and I say maybe pic equals to new photo. Okay. Then after, I say pic dot id. So if I want to get the id, so it will be equal to X, and then I pass id here. So that is how I'll get an id from this variable. Okay. And then I go ahead and get pic dot what next? Album id equals X, and then put as it is, or as it is here from the JSON. Okay, album id, and I put it here. Okay. What else? We say pic dot what else? Title. So I say title equals to X, and then you pass the title as it is. Okay. And then lastly is the thumbnail URL. So just simply say pic dot thumbnail URL. We put the exact name. Then after, it means now we have the whole information there. So now we can now add this pic into this list of pics. So I say pics dot add, and we add the what? The pic. Okay. So let us display just the number of pics. Okay, here before we return, let us just display the number of pics. So you can simply say print, and then you display just the number of pics there. And then you say, and you see if we really did something or not. So I put here pics dot what? Dot length, to tell the number of pics that have been received. Okay, so that's it. So I'll save. Okay, I'll save. And then come back and then click on pics. So it will load, and you can see, oh my god, 5,000. So in that 1 minute, it is able to get 5,000 records from here. Just 1 second almost. So it is so beautiful, right? Now the next thing you are going to display to display these ones. I think here we can limit these pics. I don't know. Let us see in their documentation if these photos can be limited. Their documentation. Let us see limit, if they are talking about limit. Is it the one that you're using? How did they have here to call a guide? They don't have limit in their parameters. Body user ID. Okay, maybe can put maybe, let me try to pass here, question mark limit equals to 1, sorry, equals to 1 pass per page per page. Let me try that one. Let's see, they're not talking about pagination. Okay, I think they don't have pagination. Okay, but the whole point here, we are able to collect 5,000 photos within just 1 minute. I mean 1 second. See, 5,000 photos. I mean 5,000 this kind of data. Okay, this kind of data, this one. So we have already even copied it into these pics. So the next thing, we want to see how now we can display it. Okay, we want to see how we can display this data into our file, I mean into our project, so that we know now we can get information from internet and display into our project. So to do that, we have what we call list view builder. You can search to an internet list view builder for Flutter. So that list view builder, it can help us to build a list dynamically. Before, I've been working with the what we just list, but right now I want to see how I can build a list dynamically. So you can copy that piece of code, or you can write it. Okay, so just simply come here to where there is our child here, and we are going to put list view dot builder. This guy, list view, write the word list view dot builder. So this list view dot builder, it will take the count. Count means the number of items that are in that list, and then you say builder item, then you pass the context, and then here you give the index or the I, and then you return what you want to display and put a semicolon here. So maybe I can put here, maybe I want to display the I itself. That is a very, very complete topic on its own, but Flutter simplified it. So by doing like this, you can just simply make a dynamic list. Can you see? You see? So if I put here 10, so I'm going to explain. If I put here 10, maybe let us say 60. Okay, so it means that it creates, now you see that refresh button, when I refresh it, it calls our function. That's the one that I wanted to show you. Okay, so you see I have 60 items. So that is a way how we can build a dynamic list. It is very interesting topic, but Flutter made it much more simple. Okay, you'll pass the number or the maximum number of items, and then it will be looping as it calls this widget. So this widget can even be an external widget or anything, and then you're able to display multiple items on your screen. So now here, instead of having 60, we are going to pass our length, the length of our pics. Okay, so you're going to simply say pics dot what dot length. Is the pics public variable? I think no. Let us make it a public variable. So I'll cut it from here and put it outside here so that it can be accessed everywhere. So I'm going to put here pics dot length. So dot length. So after that, what next? What next? The next thing, I want to display only the IDs of those pics. So of course I can now simply maybe put here my temporary pic, and I say maybe photo, and then we'll say pic, or I can say p equals to, and then I fetch each photo here, or I fetch individually the photo by passing pics, and I put here the index. So the index is being given to you through this method, or as an I. So after, I can now be able to display each photo each photo's title. You see, I'm able to display each photo's title. But you see, even though I have 1,000 photos, I'm not able to see them. Okay, so what are we missing? We're missing to update the state. Okay, So even though you have so many states, so many photos, you cannot get them. So you have to update the state. Okay, so to update the state, we just simply come here. You see, after getting all the photos, okay, after putting all the photos into the pic, I'll just simply come and say set state. Okay, and I save. So set state is the one that will do what? Will upload the photos. So can you see? I'm able to get all my photos. Okay, their titles. You see? And by the use of refresh widget, I'm able to do this fancy thing that you always see in the phone. Let me show it to you. Let me go. This guy. This one. Can you see? That's beautiful. So when I can pull down, it will do what? It will refresh and get for me new photos. That's beautiful. And then by the power of set state, I'm able to update it. So we can go ahead and display the photos, by the way. Let us display them. So I think let us put here, should you use even the list view tile, list tile? I don't know. Let us put the leading. Okay, let us put leading, and the leading, let us go ahead and pass the image. Okay, image, is it image like this? And then you put, is it network image? I don't know. Is it image.network? I don't remember. Image.network. Okay, and then you pass here the URL. So the URL will be inside p.what thumbnail URL, like this. So you can have those photos. So let's refresh. Can you see? The photos have come. Although they are not so beautiful, but you can see we have got the photos. So these are photos from internet. So if they were nice photos, we could be able to do what? To get them. Okay? If they are nice photos, we could be able to get them. So that is so nice. Okay? Let me show you. So when you refresh, we'll be able to get the what? The photos. So the photos and the information. So you can present them in a better way. They can be maybe rounded. They can be bigger than this. You can put them in form of a grid. You can put them in form of an e-commerce design. And that can be in the next class. But for now, the main point is we are able to get data from internet and display it into our what? Into our application. So the task that I will give you, it will be just around there. Be able to convert data of JSON and be able to get data from internet and display it into the application. You see? So this is something that looks small, but that is where all application that you see out there is all about. Jumia everywhere is just fetching data from internet in form of JSON, decode it and display it. The remaining is just design. Also, once you prove to me that you can fetch data from internet and display it, then I'll be good with you. So there are much more APIs. For example, this API of there's an API called Free News API. This API will give you a free news related API. You see, you can create a simple news application. So I would recommend you to use that one. Okay, so you just create an account and then log in. They'll give you a key. Then you'll be sending a link like this, and then they'll be able to give you what? A news articles. You see, news articles with their photos. You see, this is the photo of an image. And you can be able to do what? You see, that is an image or a photo. So there are so many news. You can be able to change the parameters of the news that you want to see. You see? So I would like you to do what? To go ahead and practice even from different teachers and try so many different things. In the next class, I will show you now how you can create your own API, how you can create your own PHP project, and then be able to receive the information from the web and display it on the what? On the application. But here today, I'll stop from here. I'll share this source code to my repo. So in case you want to see how I've done it, you can come and also look at it. Okay? I will not go beyond here for today. And I'll call it a day. Put your IDs into the what? Into the chat for those who are still around until now. Unless there is a question.